Hello everyone, welcome back to another ReZero video. Hope you all are doing well today or tonight, wherever you are. Now it's been a few days, I haven't been able to record, I've been pretty busy lately with work and other stuff, so I'm sorry about that. But as always, we're gonna get right into it. So in the last part, not too much happened. We just had Subaru finish the trial. He had his final talk with Echidna. Well, probably not the final talk, but of that trial, he had a final talk, and then he returned to the tomb, and then he saw Emilia right where he saw him last time when he collapsed on the same spot where she was. So, and she was in. She seemed to be struggling quite a bit, if I remember. Right, yeah. She kept saying, like, save me, Dad. Puck, puck, puck. So, right now, I'm not sure if she's out of her trial right now. Or she's still in it, or is she weaving between being in the trial? I don't know. I'm just not sure if she's still in her trial right now, or she kind of got kicked out of it. She couldn't do it, but we'll see. Oh, and also, another important part that happened last time is we found out there's, like, 3 trials, so Subaru only completed one of them, and he does not intend on taking the others, which makes sense. He only went in there to help Emilia. He didn't expect to even take this trial. So I'm really curious about what these other trials will be, because obviously this one was about facing your past. I don't know if the other trials could be like more a physical trial, or if it's another kind of mental, emotional trial like the first one. I have no idea, but I'm sure we'll find out pretty soon. But yeah, this will probably be a longer video since I was looking through to find a stopping point. This is gonna be over 12 pages, I'd say, so be prepared if it is a longer video. Also, one more thing. Tomorrow I will be getting a new camera, so the quality will be much better than whatever this is. This is really bad, so hopefully that'll make the quality a lot better. It will, I'm sure it will. Anything will be better than the webcam I have right now. So without further ado, let us start this. I'm actually kind of getting close to finishing the book. I mean, I'll probably take like maybe 3 or 4 more videos. Probably 3 at most. So we're almost there, guys. We're almost there. Almost done with this. Alright, let's see here. She finally calmed down a short while ago and is now sound asleep. Oh, wait. Ram whispered the news when she came out of the room after Subaru had questioned her with a glance. Given her considerate demeanor, what had happened inside the room behind her must have been something else. So, is she done with her trial then? Because she's not in the tomb anymore, correct? She's in some sort of room, maybe back at the sanctuary. So if she failed it, can she even try it again? Or maybe that's what Echidna meant when she said Subaru would be, taking the trials, the rest of them. While relieved at her reply, he wasn't relieved enough not to turn his worried eyes towards the closed door. That expression isn't like you, Borisu. Normally you have such a sloppy face. Now that I've seen that somber grimace of yours, I truly have no wish to see it ever again. Well, this is probably incredibly hard for him to see Emilia like that. Nobody asked you. Sorry, making you worry about me like that. Ram reacted to those words with a ha, of course you did, and walked away. Before falling in her footsteps, Subaru bit his lip as he turned his eyes toward the door one last time. Perhaps repeated regrets over his insufficient strength his weakness causing failure to pile upon failure, had steeled his heart. Oh, I wonder, is Lady Emilia already well? Roswell. Cutting short his lingering sentiments at the closed door, he chased Ram deeper into the building. When he stepped into the room farthest back, he was greeted by Roswell, lying upon the bed. The place at the back of the building in the sanctuary devoted to Roswell's conservance. Okay, yeah, they are back at the sanctuary. I thought so. From what Subaru had heard, it was actually Ryuzu's house, but was currently on loan. The needs of the lord of the land being the highest priority. Yep. Thanks to being able to use that room, he had ended up carrying Emilia, fallen into disarray at the tomb, into the very same building. Yeah, right now she's sleeping in her room. Thanks to Ram, she shouldn't have to see any nightmares. I used aromatic tea that acts as a sedative. Normally it would not work, but the Great Spirit is not currently at her side, so... Exactly. Puck. We have not seen Puck in so long, probably since the beginning of this book. Man, that's one of the mysteries. Like, where the heck could Puck be? I have no theories on what could have happened. I mean, there's no reason that Puck shouldn't be able to awaken, right? I don't see why not. There must be something stopping him. But yeah, it's definitely weird to not have Puck around. After Subaru replied to Roswell, Ram put a hand on her pouch as she added her words to his. The tea ingredient seemed to be a different one from what Ram had previously used to lead Subaru astray with an illusion. That there were multiple types rather surprised him. It went without saying that he ought not to be concerned about bad effects inside his body, but I still have this nagging suspicion he'd been serving me poison all that time. Too large a dose of any base ingredient for tea will become poison, nothing more. You're a petty man to hold a grudge all this time. Speaking those words with a composed expression, Ram stood right at Roswell's bedside. For all intents and purposes, the room was host to a one-on-one meeting between Subaru and Roswell. No other connected persons were welcome. Yeah, because if you remember, before they entered the whole trial thing, Subaru said that Roswell and him would have a talk after the trial would be over. I'm guessing that's what this is. Garfield dragged his feet, but Ryuzu, being so sensible, was a huge help. Due to her age and seniority, she has learned the value of discretion. Even Garfield understands that they cannot achieve their objectives without our cooperation, you see. Roswell's words made Subaru recall how they look when Subaru had parted ways with them at the tomb. The liberation of the sanctuary was Garfield and Ko's cherished desire. If their side didn't cooperate, the other side might resort to force, but if we intend to liberate them, they'll lend us a hand, huh? Damn complicated situation to be in. Well, we do know a lot of, or at least some of the people in the sanctuary don't want to be liberated for some reason, and that's also could be connected to Frederica. So I wonder if something relating to that might happen soon. Like the villagers might intercept or something, or try to disrupt the trial. Because Lady Emilia is with us, our interests are aligned. The obstinacy their side has displayed to date should ease. Incidentally, I heard that a father of yours was present. Father? Ah, you mean Otto. We stuffed him in the cathedral for tonight, of course. He actually came to the sanctuary because he wanted to meet you in the first place. Roswell, but what? Roswell had one eye closed as Subaru scratched his head. The reason for Otto's absence was exceptionally clear. We're talking internal camp business from here on. I don't intend to drag a half outsider like him into our problems past the point of no return. I see, a wise decision. It would seem you do not enjoy involving friends of yours in your troubles. I wouldn't exactly call us friends, but, well, pretty much, yeah. Having mulled over and accepted the circumstances, Subaru shrugged his shoulders, making no great effort to deny the point. From there, despite the absence of Emilia, the subject of the discussion, how about tonight we hammer out important stuff for this camp that we've been kicking down the road? You were the instigator behind the hunt for the white whale. You dispatched the Archbishop of the Seven Deadly Sins of the Witch Cult, taking aim at the mansion in the village. You formed an alliance with Lady Crutch, candidate for the throne. That seemed to be your meritorious services record. Roswell's white painted brow wrinkled as the detached tone of his voice deepened. So, I mean, Roswell knows all this, huh? I assume he would, I guess. He probably would have heard of it. And Subaru attempted to speak about their eternal affairs. It was Roswell's mouth that summarized the ferocious combat occurring in his absence that Subaru should have spoken about first. When they enumerated like that, even Subaru thought his exploits sounded unreal, but he made no effort to deny them. All of it was pure fact. I had not asked in detail before the evacuation, but I cannot think the contents anything but fiction. Roswell doesn't believe him? I thought you might say that, but there's no point hiding it, and I hadn't boasted about it before. Now come on and praise me. Yes, good boy. Put some heart in it. In contrast to the serious Subaru, Ram treated him as flippantly as ever. However, the dual edge to the sarcasm behind her words was likely due to her surprise that Subaru had truly done all those things. Okay, so Ram is there as well. I thought it was just Roswell and Subaru. And the same seemed to go for Roswell, silent as he strove to comprehend those facts. These are unexpected, unanticipated results. Yeah, you think? I mean, honestly, who would have guessed that Subaru could do all those things? Form alliance, take down the freaking Archbishop. It's no small feat, obviously, and for Subaru to do that in their eyes is something miraculous. Like, that is insane. But I guess with the help of dying a few times, he got through it. Lowering his eyes with extremely deep feeling, Roswell spoke thus as his breath trickled out. Subaru, utterly convinced Roswell would praise him in some halfway frivolous manner, was dumbstruck by his reaction. Then Roswell fixed Subaru in his differently colored eyes as he said, Subaru, do you recall the declaration you made at the beginning of the royal selection? Like I could forget it. Like I could ever forget it. I remember each and every word. Suddenly, he recalled the abominable memory, and the shame and the self-loathing of it scorched his breast. Even if the numerous people of power and influence in that place had laughed it all off, Subaru alone was not permitted to forget, so that he might never repeat the recklessness, naivete, and stupidity of forgetting what was really important ever again. But Roswell responded to Subaru's reply with a solemn nod. In that light, I think your meritorious service should be rewarded. You have proven the words you spoke in that place. Upon our safe departure from this place, I shall appoint you to knight. Oh my god, Subaru's gonna become a knight? Dude, I did not expect that at all. That's pretty crazy. But if Subaru's gonna become a knight, have the title of knight, he's gonna have to act like a knight. He's gonna have to. Subaru's gotta train. He's gotta get stronger if he's gonna live up to that title of a knight. That's no small feat. Oh man, I'm so happy for him. No, it's great. He's Emilia's knight. He's Emilia's knight. That's wonderful. Man, that is so cool. Alright, subduing the white whale with the Duchess and taking down an Archbishop of the Seven Deadly Sins are exploits that should be commended. You shall be known as Subunatsky, Knight. No one will laugh at you anymore. In the name of helping Emilia, he'd opened his big fat mouth as a youth ignorant of his position. His naive dreams were broken on harsh reality time and time again. He had fallen first into despair, then madness, then he cast everything aside as he raced forward with vengeance in his heart, only to be saved by deep feelings of love. These were the events that brought him to where he was now. The prestige Roswaal promised would demonstrate all that had actually meant something. Exactly, like, it would mean everything Rem had done would also be rewarded, though memories of her actions existed in the minds of none save Subaru himself. If doing so gives meaning to that battle, I gratefully accept. You should be proud of these exploits. With your own power, you have won the right to stand at Emilia's side. It wasn't my power alone. Yeah, exactly. He had a lot of help, but still. I'm also wondering when Subaru's gonna hammer into Roswaal for, not having any like protection at the Roswaal Manor, any defenses, anything, because that's what Subaru was really angry about Roswaal. That's why he was angry at him. So I'm just curious when Subaru would bring that up, because Roswaal needs to hear that, and I'm curious how that will go. Subaru murmured it quietly enough that only he must have heard it. Oh, really? When Roswaal knitted his brows as a result, Subaru tightly closed his eyes for a moment, audibly cracked his neck, then continued. You acting serious really throws me off. I'm grateful we can move the talk along, mind you. You wound me. Am I not always serious? Besides, I promised, did I not, that I would face you directly into the next time. You, as in me and Emilia. Emilia really should be here, but she's not. Oh my, you are quite mistaken. Huh? When Roswaal averted his face, apparently uncomfortable at being misunderstood, Subaru's breath caught a little. Roswaal closed one eye as he corrected Subaru's correction, leaving the gaze of his yellow eye alone. That was his tell when he was hiding something deep within himself. Subaru got a bad feeling when he looked at Roswaal's eyes and considered the earlier statement. Wait, so what? Emilia is here? What is Roswaal up to? He's very secretive person. We never know what's going on with Roswaal. What do you mean by that? Why did you go out of your way to leave Emilia out of this? Is it not rather obvious? Dirty matters should be discussed only between trusted co-conspirators. I'm not so gracious as to include someone I do not fully trust in such a meeting. He doesn't trust Emilia, the person he's backing for the royal selection? Why? Is it because she's half elf? Is it something as dumb? Well, not dumb, but something as petty as that? Why would Roswaal not trust Emilia? You mean you don't trust Emilia? What the hell are you talking about out of the blue like that? When Roswaal... Yeah, that's seriously a surprise to me, honestly. When Roswaal, resting his back against his bed, calmly revealed his opinion, it drove Subaru into a rage. Of course it did. He was practically saying was not worthy of his trust. He, Roswaal, L. Mathers, none other than Emilia's backer in the royal selection, yeah. He trusts Subaru more than he trusts Emilia. You're the one who nominated Emilia for the throne. Where'd he get off saying you don't trust Emilia? Giving into his anger, Subaru closed the distance between them to say that what was on his mind. He violently rubbed his brow with his fingers over and over, as if it were a spell meant to convince his head, flushed with blood, to calm down. It was his bad habit to suddenly lose it in the middle of a conversation. Just how much had he run in circles at the royal capital because of that short temper? He focused on deep breathing. Breathe in, breathe out. He did this a second time and then the third. See? He's already character development. Right there. He's not the short-tempered guy he used to be. I mean, he is, but he realized what he was doing and remembered how much that set him back in the past during the Royal Capital. So that's cool to see. It's cool to see him, realize that and fix his mistakes. He did it a second time, then the third. Let's talk about everything in order, starting with his co-conspirator business. Very well. Once you understand that point, it should serve as a reply to your earlier misgivings. Subaru chained down his anger, which made Roswaal appear quite satisfied. Subaru crossed his arms and glared at the man, slightly prodding him to continue. Now then, first, the true meaning behind my use of co-conspirator in regards to you is quite simple. I wish you to continue providing Lady Emilia aid as you have done to date. Do as much as your feelings dictate until the day she sits upon a throne. So he wants Subaru to do anything and anything he wants to help Emilia. I wonder if there's some sort of deeper meaning to that. Because obviously he had Subaru in the royal capital when the whole meeting with the whole candidates was going on, and he wanted Subaru to stay in the capital, and he intended for him to make an alliance and do all this other stuff, which is interesting. So do as much as your feelings dictate until the day she sits upon the throne. That goes without saying, but what the hell will you be doing? Naturally, I shall do the same. Lady Emilia shall have my full support for victory in the royal selection, so that she may become the ruler of this kingdom. You see, you and I share the same goal, thus we are co-conspirators. If that's all you're planning, I just call you an ally. Co-conspirator means something different. Yeah, I was gonna say that. That's kind of a weird title. Gritting his teeth as Roswaal presented his terms, Subaru controlled the tone of his voice. He didn't think Roswaal would invoke the word co-conspirators if his motives were limited to the proper ones he had just presented. In the first place, there would be no reason to exclude Emilia from the conversation if that were true. Exactly. Besides, what you're saying is full of contradictions. If you seriously wanted to put Emilia on the throne, what's your excuse for slacking off before coming here to the sanctuary? What do you mean by slacking off? What else could he mean? He was not there at the manor to protect Emilia and everyone else. That's obvious. It was common knowledge. Emilia publicly entering the royal selection would set off the witch cult off on a rampage. Exactly. Everyone said, "Oh, Roswaal has to have prepared countermeasures." Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Roswaal didn't prepare any countermeasures to protect against some sort of this thing, against the witch cult. So where the hell were they? If that's not slacking off, what is? Unless Subaru was his countermeasure. Subaru replied to Roswaal's feigned innocence with anger as he pounded home the suspicion he'd wanted to express for some time. Once he'd reached the boiling point, his dissatisfaction had only grown and grown without pause. For starters, you hid info on the witch cult from Emilia, didn't you? Emilia didn't know a damn thing about the witch cult. She didn't understand at all what would happen when she joined the royal selection. If she'd known, everything could have gone differently. None of that would have had to. As Subaru spoke, those hellish scenes came rushing back to mind. Hells he had peered into several times over. The villager slaughtered, the children cruelly put to death. How Petra's corpse had been stripped his mind bare. How Ram's dead body had carved a hole out of his soul. Man, that was so bad. That was definitely one of the worst, most intense scenes of season 1. Petra's eyes were gouged out. And all the kids, That was disturbing. How Rem's death had robbed him of even the ability to mourn, and how Emilia's death. You should have been there. If you had been there, none of that would have happened. So why weren't you there? Borisu. The unconceivable pain and anguish in his voice made even Ram's cheeks stiffen. No tears flowed from him. However, with a disheveled face, Subaru accused Roswaal. Only Subaru, who had seen those hellish scenes, had the right to accuse him. If you'd stayed behind and protected everyone, But while I was absent, you fulfilled my duty in my place. Exploits that would make even a knight's heart swell in pride. Exactly, that's what I was saying. You probably just expected Subaru to handle things. That's not the point. His gratitude for being honored with the prestigious title of knight rapidly diminished. Certainly, being awarded the knightly title gave firm meaning to the battle. However, to the Subaru of the present, that battle in and of itself was a symbol of his mistakes. If that battle had never happened, Borisu, please calm yourself. Ram. When Subaru unwittingly took a step forward, Ram glared at him from right up close. She shielded Roswaal behind her back, quiet anger resting in her pink eyes. Subaru has much of a right to be angry. Subaru's gone through so much. I'm a Subaru on this one. Master Roswaal is injured. Even so, he can surely put a stop to any violence from one such as you with a single finger. I shall permit no rudeness when I am present, Borisu. You're okay with this. It's the same for you. He left you behind like a sacrificial pawn. Roswaal curled his tail and ran from the witch school. Are you telling me I'm wrong? I accept that without reservation. Ram forgives all Master Roswaal's deeds, including however she might be treated or even eventually cast aside. Then you forgive Ram being sacrificed for stupid stuff like this, too. Man, this is getting, The incomprehensible loyalty in Ram's reply set off Subaru like nothing else. He had avoided the issue several times, telling himself it wasn't the right time, putting off the truth he needed to speak to her about Ram, and how her memory had faded from the world, now existing only within Subaru's heart. With the master she had served for many years, even with her older twin sister, who had... Oh, excuse me, guys. With the master she had served for many years, even with her older twin sister, who was her other half, Ram. I know not who you speak, but no other name means anything to me. To Ram, Master Roswaal is everything, and all others come second. The words Subaru had spat out, giving in to his emotions, were cut down by Ram without the slightest hesitations, which Subaru should have expected, of course. You know. Though Subaru had not planned it that way, her words were solid proof that there was no memory of Ram within Ram, presenting him with the painful reality he had been repeatedly ignored and avoided. Drained of strength, Subaru retreated a distance greater than the step forward he had made. The sight of Subaru's shoulders sinking made Ram knit her brows, whereupon Roswaal weightily shook his head. Ram, stand aside. This conversation is between him and me only. I permit you to attend, but I do not permit you to speak. You understand, yes? Yes, I have no excuse for intruding. Ram bowed and then attended Roswaal's bedside once more. As Subaru watched the exchange, he felt something like a breeze blowing through his exceptionally empty chest. I mean, at least Roswaal kind of respects Subaru in that regard, or respect this meeting, you know. Just between him and her, what am I saying? Just between Roswaal and Subaru. No one else, as there should be right now. Subaru watched the exchange. He felt something like a breeze flowing through his empty chest. Both of Roswaal's eyes narrowed at the sight of Subaru hanging his head at the desolate reality. Tonight, I respond to you in earnest. This is what I have decided. That is why I should respond to the doubts you toss at me with the truth. Why did I conceal information from Lady Emilia that I should have disclosed? Why was I absent from the mansion when the witch cult was coming to attack? These questions have a single answer. We're getting an answer, let's hear it. Subaru put strength into his neck and lifted up his head. One thing I don't get is why he wouldn't tell it Lady Emilia about the witch cult. I thought Emilia would know, but apparently not. It's kind of weird that Roswaal wouldn't warn her or tell her about anything regarding the witch cult. As Subaru did, Roswaal closed one eye and said, I guided events so they would be resolved without me needing to confront the witch cult. I guided events so they would be resolved without me needing to confront the witch cult. Now, what could he mean by that? He guided events? In what ways could he have guided events? He doesn't have some sort of like power, right? But I guess he probably set up a bunch of stuff, so I don't know. We'll see. Let's read on here. Maybe he'll elaborate on how he did such a thing. Huh? Subaru was dumbstruck, unable to digest the meaning of the words Roswaal had spoken openly while looking him in the eyes. When he crunched, chewed, and swallowed the words down, tasting their meaning with his brain, the contents permeated his very soul. I don't get it. Then you mean, what, you ran? You actually did get cold feet when the witch cult was coming? And then, how could you? Is it truly incomprehensible that I, among the kingdom's sages, a prominent man of influence, I, capable of a violent rampage even greater than the menace of the witch cult, would avoid battle with the cult? Well, is he saying that he would just have way too much destructive power or something if he was to stay and defend against the witch cult? Damn right it is. You of all people could have easily taken care of all of. That is precisely why I did not. Had I resolved the matter, no credit would have gone to Lady Emilia, nor would there be any fame to be won by you, would there? That would have rendered it meaningless. So, Roswaal did all this to raise the reputation of Shibu and Emilia. That's the main reason. So he set up events that would lead to this? I don't understand how he would know. Well, I guess the witch cult attacking, I think many people anticipated that, so maybe he would know something like that. What? Shibu genuinely couldn't comprehend what was being said to him. The statement would have been 100 times better if it had been a joke or Roswaal toying with him, but Roswaal's face showed nothing that could fulfill Shibu's wish. Roswaal kept one eye closed as he continued. The effect was tremendous, was it not? Indeed, ever since the witch cult was driven off, the attitude of the residents of the Erlham village towards Lady Emilia has been the complete opposite of what it was once. I mean, he has a point. He does have a point. Everything is pretty much better after the fact of the attack, but the thing is, Shibu saw what had happened. Like 2 times he saw the village completely destroyed, all the villagers dead, Ram dead, Emilia dead. It was just, there was a possibility of that happening, which it did. And if it was not for, Shibu's gift or curse, you could say, his power, then that's what would have happened. That would be the cruel reality of Roswell's actions. And I think that's, one of the reasons why Shibu's so mad at him, because it could have definitely not gone the way it had gone in the present timeline. So it just, I get what Roswell's saying, like, it made everything better, but he didn't see what Subaru saw. He didn't see the consequences of that, you know? She'd gone from a witch behind. Oh wait. The attitude of the residents of Erlheim Village towards Lady Emilia had been complete opposite of what it once was. She had gone from a witch beyond their comprehension to the savior those efforts protected their very lives, and their assessment of you has similarly risen. Yes, you do you understand what you said right now? The jolt inside Suba's throat made his voice quiver indistinctly. However, the sounds that were not garbed made Roswaal cock his head, his lack of comprehension clear. It was that demeanor that gripped the bottom of Subaru's heart in incomprehensible fear. Incomprehensible fear. Roswaal had essentially said this. His understanding of the menace of the witch cult had been no way deficient. He had anticipated that the witch cult would launch an attack, and so, forewarned, he had used the expected disaster for public relations purposes to raise, the reputation. But that's just judging by hindsight, and it ended up that way, that's all. If he resolved it all, maybe Emilia and the villagers would still be in the same place, but he recalled the scene from the previous evening, Emilia exchanging words with the residents who had evacuated to the sanctuary, where they had entrusted their hopes to her. Certainly, that scene might never have become reality if things had gone as Roswaal had planned them. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. Roswell's kinda. I understand where Roswell's coming from, in that regard. But that's all hindsight. Do you even think about how many people would die because you weren't there to save them? Certainly, the casualties were minimized. I worked my ass off for that. But they weren't zero. People died. Allow me to express my regret for the harm that befell our allies. It is, of course, only natural that our enemies are dead. The witch cult force was laid to waste, not a single member surviving. I could not have done it better myself. For this, you seek to apologize to me? No, that's not it. That's not it at all. In revulsion, Subaru weakly shook his head, rejecting Roswell's words. Why wasn't he getting through? Why didn't he get it? Roswell's intent had just been too cruel, too heartless. It was fine to charge straight forward toward your goal, but couldn't he just listen? But this wasn't simply charging forward. It was as if he was ignoring every obstacle that had fallen upon the roadway before him. If I'd stayed a piece of garbage that couldn't accomplish anything, where would you be then? The result would be that nobody was saved, not Emilia, not the villagers. As a matter of fact, Subaru laid eyes upon that result multiple times over. That's what I was saying. If anything, that result was inevitable. In most worlds, entrusting the matter to Subaru had led to the worst case scenario. I left it in your hands because I trusted you. Subaru wanted to know if that reply was sincere. When he heard it, all he could do was laugh out loud in despair. That means you don't intend to give me a serious answer. Perhaps it is not the answer you hoped for, but I have stated the truth. I decided that tonight I would not deceive you in any way. If I cannot speak of something, I shall say so, and if something is inconvenient, I shall hold my tongue. But I swear to you that no words I have spoken are lies. Roswell's words were solemn, however, they invited too much distrust for belief. From the conversations they had to date, Subaru had no faith left over to take his words at face value. I got some cool, neat little artwork here. Despite Subaru's silent distrust, Roswell's expression did not falter as he continued. I say again, where this matter is concerned, I made the decision to trust you. I trusted that you would strive for Lady Emilia's sake, that you would exhaust all efforts to achieve an alliance with Lady Cruch, that you would put your life on the line to successfully fend off the attack by the witch cult, and thus increase your renown. What do you know about me? You've known me for only 2 months. Do I look like a man who can accomplish things like that? Yeah, that's also very weird how Roswell would expect anything, would expect Subaru to do anything of that sort, you know? Uh, Roswell must know a little more than meets the eye, I swear. We really don't know that much about Roswell. Subaru was indignant. He was fed up with the eloquent, pretty sounding phrases that only made his ears hurt. His teeth were bared, his beady eyes grew tense, and Subaru pointed straight at Roswell as he howled. There's no way in hell. When you parted ways with me, I was a piece of garbage through and through. It was only after that I changed from garbage to something halfway decent. What came after was only because it was the only thing left to find inside of me. What did you see that lets you trust me like that? It wasn't a discussion. If the other party had no intention of being serious, conversation was futile. Roswell's demeanor towards the raggedly breathing Subaru had not changed one iota. Therefore, that gaze itself was his reply. He intended neither to correct Subaru's view nor to state the objective truth. It would seem our conversation for this evening is at an impasse. Roswell declared the conversation over, almost as if he could see straight into Subaru's inner being. Subaru had no objection, either. At the very least, not until he is ready to engage in a real conversation. Though your esteem of me has plummeted, I cannot call that pure disappointment. Incidentally, I think I hardly need to confirm, but concerning tonight, Lady Emilia, I'm not saying a word, like I could tell her anyways. Besides, whatever you're planning, whether you're laughing behind whatever face you make or not, what matters now is the result of Emilia's own choices. Her determination to challenge the tomb's trial, her promise to liberate the villagers urging her onward from the barrier, her resolve towards the royal selection. From that point on, Emilia had chosen all those things for herself. It was absolutely not because she was dancing to Roswell's tune, manipulated by his shady schemes. Though you are governed by anger, within your mind you correctly grasp this situation. For the sake of Lady Emilia's royal selection, there must be no discord created between her, myself, and the villagers. Meaning you have become an adult. You are a worthy co-conspirator indeed. There's no good death waiting for you. I am aware of this. I shall without doubt fall into hell. Therefore, I must exhaust all efforts to bring my ambition to fruition in this era before that day comes. And if I remember correctly, one of Roswell's goal, or his only goal, is something about the dragon. To take down the dragon, or I can't remember exactly. Maybe someone can remind me if you see this part. It was just something about the dragon. Like, he doesn't like the dragon. I can't remember correctly, so if anyone wants to remind me on that. I know that, Roswell's goal is something aligned with that. Subaru breathed hard as the stifling situation as Roswell gave him that adoring gaze as a predator had for his prey. Subaru returned that gaze in enmity before turning his back. The conversation was over. He didn't want to spend another instant in that man's presence, but I have one last thing to ask you. I'm not sure you'll want to give me a straight answer, though. What is it? My earlier promise to answer truthfully remains in effect. Ask whatever you wish. It's about Beatrice. Oh, Beatrice. I haven't heard that name in a while. The instant Subaru invoked that name. Oh wait, Beatrice. Before they left to the sanctuary, Subaru had a conversation with Beatrice. What was that about? I remember, Beatrice had a relationship with Pettelgeese, it seems like. Some sort of relationship. And I think she told Subaru to ask Roswell about something. I don't know. It's been so long since I've read that part, I can't remember correctly, but let's see here. The instant Subaru invoked that name, all composure vanished from Roswell's face. Beatrice, he murmured to himself, regaining the aloof, clownish demeanor that had reigned until the moment before. You pay a great deal of attention to that girl. What is it you wish to ask? I had a chance to speak with her before coming here to the sanctuary, and though she wouldn't tell me much, she said, all the answers to my doubts can be found here. If you're in a mood to speak seriously, what do you think she meant by that? When the conversation in the archive of forbidden books drew to an end, Beatrice had spoken those words to Subaru with a tearful face. Frederica had also said Beatrice was one of the very few people related to Roswell with whom he shared his thoughts. I might have to reread that part since it's been so long. If that was so, then Roswell might understand just why Beatrice had that sad look on her face. Before I reply to that question, there's something I wish to ask for myself. What then? To aid Lady Emilia, you entered the tomb. By whatever twist of fate, it seems the tomb's punishment does not go into effect. Did you meet someone within that tomb? Ooh, oh boy. Good question, good question. But Shibu cannot speak to that, correct? The question Roswell posed made Shibu sink into thought for one brief moment. Despite hearing that it was dangerous, Shibu had rushed into the tomb to rescue Emilia. Though Emilia had in fact undergone the trial, he hadn't spoken a word of that to Roswell. One reason was that the flow of conversation had given much of a chance, but the biggest reason was that Shibu's lack of trust towards him. Roswell had decided to even use the witch's cold onslaught to increase Emilia's popularity. If he knew that Shibu had challenged the tomb, Shibu couldn't even fathom what schemes he might come up with this time. In the first place, it was unclear to whom he was referring. Shibu hadn't met blank in the tomb or anything else. Oh, does Shibu not remember? Does he seriously not remember? Are you kidding me? What are you talking about? I was inside a tomb. It was inside a tomb, like there was a room to meet anyone. A zombie, maybe? I do not know what you mean by zombie, but no, that answer is insufficient. No, that answer is sufficient. Thus, my reply to your question is simple. It's not yet time to speak about the matter. Huh. So your story's in the end. When will you be able to talk about it then? That depends on you, though if possible, I would like tonight's pact to be invoked as soon as possible. Huh? His manner of speech was deeply suggestive, but Roswell did not seem ready to explain any further. Thinking back, Subaru felt deeply despondent at how evasive Roswell had been from start to finish. Everything, even this prestige that came with the title of knight, had been for the purpose of setting up a favorable conversation with Subaru. Well then, Subaru, let's share pleasant conversation again. Subaru, showered by Roswell's sarcastic-sounding words even on the eve of his departure, eventually slammed the door shut. Oh my goodness. Wow. Oh, we're done. I was ready to keep going. We're done. Jeez, man. That was very interesting. That was a good read. I mean, it seemed like Subaru did not remember what happened in the tomb, like the whole trial thing, but he must remember. Because right as he woke up from completing the trial, he's like, that's right, I completed it. And he recalled everything that happened. So there's no way he doesn't remember what happened in the trial. So he just lied to Roswell. But it seemed that Roswell maybe was asking Subaru if he met someone in the tomb, and that person, I mean, definitely could have been like Akidona, right? So did he anticipate? Did he anticipate Subaru meeting Akidona? Does he know what happens with the trial and stuff? Like the context? I don't know. I have no. It's so hard to try to theorize like with ReZero, man. Roswell is just you don't know what Ross was thinking ever. You don't know what he's scheming. He's just such a weird character. We just never know. But Roswell set everything up. We learned that he set everything up from the beginning, man. From the royal capital part at least. Forming alliance to subduing the whale to fending off the witch cult. He set all that up somehow. I don't know how. He set all that up just so the reputation, the renown of Subaru would go up, and Emilia's relations with the villagers would go up. But I just don't understand how or why Roswell would have faith in Subaru to do something like that. Like, he's got to know more than meets the eye about Subaru. I just don't. Why would he put so much faith in Subaru? It just doesn't make sense. And the whole thing with Beatrice, I gotta reread the whole thing with Beatrice. What happened there? Hold on a second. Okay, so I reread a little bit of, I think, chapter 2 or chapter 1, and Beatrice said to go visit Roswell in the sanctuary, and he'll have all the answers you need about his scheme, what the gospel is about, and witch factor. I haven't heard that in a while. Witch factor. She told Subaru to go visit Roswell to learn all these things. And also, Beatrice seemed very sad, or she was very sad at the fact that Patukis is dead. She was like, oh, another one has left me, or something. But yeah, that's what happened there. So Beatrice told Subaru to go find answers at Roswell, as we know. So yeah, the only really good thing in this chapter that happened to Subaru was that he got the title of knight, which was pretty cool. I'm happy for him about that. I don't know if he's too happy about how he received that title. Like, if Roswell was there, he wouldn't have received the title, but no one probably would have died. It would have been a lot less casualties at least. But then again, the renown and relations with Emilia, villagers, and Subaru, it wouldn't have gone up. So it's kind of like, gotta pick which one you'd rather have, and it's just how it is now. It's just something he has to deal with. But that was Roswell's plan, and it went through. Whether it took like 2 or 3 deaths, it went through. Roswell's plans, his schemes. I also find it pretty interesting though, that Roswell himself does not trust Emilia, the person he's backing. And he didn't give us a reason to not trust Emilia. He just doesn't trust him. We don't know why. And I couldn't begin to guess what could be the answer and why that is, other than Emilia's a half elf. She might be connected to the witch. That's the only thing I could think about. But yeah, other than that, I was happy to see, Subaru really control himself. He noticed he was getting out of hand in a couple parts, and he's like, I just gotta breathe, 1, 2, and I was really happy for him to be able to control his emotions like that. That's some good development he has gotten, realizing his mistakes in the past and fixing them in the moment. He's not just freaking a total dummy, So I'm glad to see him having, these sorts of talks when his temper could get out of control. I'm glad to see him control that. But yeah, we're almost done with this book, guys. Probably 2 more parts at most, and we'll be finished. We'll be done with the book. It's kind of sad. I'm really enjoying this book so far. I mean, I have the next 2 volumes. I have 11 and 12. But obviously the anime is coming out, so I'll probably just be watching that and maybe read the volumes after the fact. But yeah, thank you guys. I'm gonna have to end the video here. Thank you very much if you've made it this far. Always appreciate it. I'll probably get the next 2 parts or 1 part, who knows, out in the next 2 days since I will be free. So yeah, we will be finishing volume 10 within at least 3 days. And in the next video, I will have better quality, by the way. It'll be much better quality, so look forward to that as well. Thank you very much. I will see you guys on the next part. Peace.